Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Small Talk.
Episode 2.
Episode 2, I am Maggie and this is my beautiful fiancée, Amy. We are ThinkerThemer. We usually do reviews of board games from two perspectives. I'm all about theme and story and Amy's all about the mechanics and how things actually sort of come together from that point of view. But this series we like to, well, because of that we usually do much like big, heavy Euro type games. Those are like our favorite type things. But we also play a lot of smaller box games. And so we thought we'd have this series to cover a lot of those games. Mm-hmm. So
so this series is very casual. So if you're used to watching our more polished, even though we don't script anything, the bigger box ones, we've always thought about the game a lot as we've been playing it a lot. Whereas this is kind of like we grab some things off our shelf, games that we play often and share them with you. And we also like to answer a frequently asked question or something that we've been thinking about in a more casual way. So if you're more interested in the games, they'll be in the timestamp. So just jump ahead.
You can skip.
We're not going to be offended if you jump.
Skip the small talk and then jump to the other small talk.
That's right. But today we thought we'd talk a little bit about how we got engaged. Actually, a very perceptive viewer of ours, Monica, actually asked me last time we posted this, where's my ring?
Yeah,
so
Amy, where is the ring?
We are engaged and I do have a beautiful ring. Maggie proposed to me, and how long ago was that? That was like,
4 years ago now.
4 years ago.
So 3 or 4.
And I think we've spoken on the channel about the difficulties in, obviously having to cancel our wedding last year in LA. But, just a wedding, just an event. Doesn't really matter that much. But my wedding ring, back to my wedding ring, because we've been locked at home for so long in Melbourne, I guess we're not going out as much. I'm one of those people that just puts on all my jewelry, my watch, my rings as I walk out the door. And because I haven't been going out, it's just like a comfort thing.
Like, let's hear this excuse.
Actually, I'm trying to see other people from the comforts of the home. It's like,
trying to play with
why
other
else
people.
would I have it off? Anyway,
that's
so, and whereas Maggie like sleeps in it, showers in it, like everything, so she always has her ring on. So that's that. There's nothing else going on here. We're okay.
Everything's
for asking. But back to the proposal, which is kind of funny because that weekend, because the proposal happened in Vegas, I'll let Maggie talk about the proposal itself, because she put so much time and effort into it. But actually that's very same weekend we were flying to Vegas to meet Mariah Carey. So that's an embarrassing little fact about me, is that I'm a huge Mariah Carey fan, and this was the first time that I had the opportunity to do a meet and greet with Mariah Carey. So all of my energy was focused on that at the time, and I had no idea the proposal was coming.
We were also going to see Mariah, I think it was on Valentine's Day or Valentine's Day. Yeah, it was Valentine's Day that the concert and the meet and greet was gonna take place. And it was like, how could I not? This is like the perfect storm of conditions. And this was around the time where flash mobs were a big thing. I don't know if you remember how like there were all these like flash mob proposals. And Amy would be like, she would binge watch all of the flash mobs that would come up in her feed. And she'd be bawling alongside them. I was like, no.
I'm a huge romantic.
I'm not going to be able to just do like a simple, easy, hey, will you marry me?
I wasn't trying to send any signals
and
about
I was like, is that what she wants? Like clearly there's a lot of emotional thing like around it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to think of something really awesome into that, to almost that emotional scale. The tricky thing was our friends and family are scattered throughout the world. So even if I wanted to do a flash mob, it was just not ever going to logistically be feasible or really happen. So what I ended up doing was I contacted all of our closest friends and family and just people who are close to us and said, look, what I'm thinking of doing is a video. So it's like a lip sync proposal video. Amy we both loved Moulin Rouge and the Elephant Love medley song. So it's like, that would be perfect so then it was like a whole bunch of different friends. It started out as some of our kind of closest friends doing the lip syncing sort of back and forth. And then the whole idea was to kind of share it as hey, this is something cute that our friends did. But as the song progresses, it becomes like more and more of our friends and family and people that are not part of that friendship group. And so my whole thinking was, when she starts going, wait a second, why are all these random people involved? Like, what's the common denominator? And then at the very end is when I like do the final like lip sync bit. And I'm also then like, I have signs that I'm holding up going, you know, a lot of beautiful things, and essentially just, you know.
It was. I cried the whole time. So Maggie had left the hotel room. I was on the phone to one of my dearest friends, and he was the one that was like, you should go hit play on this video. And I, of course, at the time, I thought Maggie had just gone out and was coming back to the room. And
because that was the other thing. We had friends, because we flew to the States, we had friends who lived in the States come and join us, but she didn't know. Like, they came and stayed in the same hotel, but she didn't know that they were in the same hotel.
No, he was in the same hotel talking to me, and he was like, oh, what's the hotel like? And I was like, oh, it's beautiful. And he was just upstairs. But yeah, he got me to watch the video, and at the end of the video, there was like,
I had run up to be with them, so I was kind of hiding in their hotel room.
You know, one of the nice penthouse kind of rooms was where Maggie proposed. But in the video, and my friend was like, there's a key, and so I found the key to that room, and all I remember is watching this video, being so overwhelmed, bawling my eyes out, and then stumbling through the corridors trying to work out like where to go with this key, and that the key had the room number on it, of course, but I just was like, I remember walking in the wrong direction for like ages. I was just
there waiting on.
Anyway, and then, you know, get to this beautiful room, Maggie gets down on one knee, and it was all just amazing. And then on top of that, the friends jump out of of one of the bedrooms.
When Amy said yes, luckily, then that's when they're like, yes, celebrating. So there was like another extra surprise.
It was amazing. And it was like one of the best nights of my life until I met Mariah the next night.
Then that superseded. That then became.
And that's why Maggie had to get in first.
Yes.
But yeah, it was like, actually that weekend, I think it was actually almost 5 years ago, because that weekend was also the first time we ever went to Mapleville.
Yes.
So, you know, some of you might follow Tim from Mapleville, his channel, which is fabulous. We actually know him in person because we started going to Mapleville every time we were in Vegas and hanging out there and playing board games. And so that was the first time we were there, because I remember, you know, telling everyone that we'd just gotten engaged. And anyway.
Made our first Vegas friends there.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was just an amazing weekend from all accounts. We're still not married, but very happily engaged. And it was just amazing. I mean, you couldn't have orchestrated it.
It worked. It all worked.
It was very special.
So that was good.
But anyway, so that's the unrelated game chat today. And now let's get into, should we talk about some games?
Let's talk about some games.
Talk about some games.
All right.
The first game that I want to talk about today is a little game called Ramen Fury. Ramen Fury is actually by a collective of designers, which I just found out about, which is Forest Prusen Creative, who were actually, I think they were bought out by Funko, which makes sense because they do a lot of IP games, I believe. But this little one kind of flew in out of nowhere, like onto our radar, and it was really the packaging that caught my eye.
It's so cool.
It looks like a packet of ramen.
It's like an instant noodles.
But then also the cards.
Oh, it's
they're
so
like
good.
Packaged inside
the box. It's a box of noodles.
A box
like,
of
it looks
dried
like
noodles.
the block of noodles.
Yeah, super cute. How many players does it play? 2 to 5. 2 to 5. We have not played this at 2 players. Maybe at the very beginning to learn it.
3 to 4.
But this
isn't play it.
Yeah, this is not the game to play for 2 players only. No. But it's interesting. It's like you're drafting ingredients and building bowls of ramen. And there's a central pantry, which is what you draft from. It has 4 cards, and then it's got a deck of cards, and you can use your actions to refresh that pantry. But essentially, you're taking different vegetables and proteins and adding them to your 3 bowls of ramen. And once you're satisfied with those bowls, you can consume them or eat them. And you turn them upside down, and so it's like, this is done, this bowl. But what happens in between is like this anxious, like trying to make the optimal bowl of ramen, because you can add flavor sachets into your bowl that give you different scoring conditions. So you might need a certain number of vegetables, certain number of meat, and then there are these chilies.
The chilies.
And the chilies that give you minus victory points if they're in your bowl, and a bowl of ramen can only have 5 cards or 5 ingredients. And so you don't want to muddy that up with these minus victory points. But fun thing about this game, or some people would hate this about this game, is there's a lot of take that, because there's these little spoons where you can actually scoop up an ingredient from someone else's bowl and put it into your own, like steal their ingredients. You can also put chilies that they don't want in their bowl. You can add it to other people's bowls right at the time they're about to eat them. Like there's all these like,
it is like
that elements.
It's one of those things from a thematic integration, and I will go into this. It is like you're in a kitchen messing around. So you're all chefs trying to put together these bowls, and you're messing around with each other's recipes and with each other's bowls and the flavor profile.
Yeah,
so that's pretty fun.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah, sabotage.
So that's Ramen Fury, a really cute game if you have a group of friends that you want something a bit lighter, but it's got a lot of take that, there are certain people, I won't name names, but there are certain of our friends that like that kind of game.
Yeah.
And it does go down
Love
really well
that.
with them, and it's really beautifully thematic. Like it's a lot of fun. So it's a cute one to just keep around.
Very light,
that
very
is Ramen Fury.
Yes. So the next game is Coffee Roaster. Now this is actually a solo-only game, published by Sachi and Sachi, designed by Sachi. And in Coffee Roaster, and this is, what do you call this edition?
Well, this is the original Japanese edition, so it has been republished, reprinted recently, also by Sashi and Sashi, but there was a limited print run. This copy we actually picked up in Tokyo, because when you travel somewhere and you're like, what's the game to get in that country? Yeah. Coffee Roaster was certainly number one, so we tracked down this original copy.
Yeah. So in Coffee Roaster, it's a super cute, well, not cutesy, but cute game, because all you're really doing is you're roasting coffee beans and you're trying to make the perfect cup of coffee. So there's a series of different blends that you're aiming for, and so they all have a particular kind of level of roast that is needed. You can either play a single game, or they have, I also played, like there's an app version of this that then means that you don't have to set up the physical game and you can just play it in bed. That's the lazy way. But the way it works is, you can either have a single game, or you can do like a three blend game. And in that, every round what you're doing is you've got a bag and you're pulling beans and different kind of variety things or actions out of that bag. And then every time you then decide either to roast it, as in put them back in the bag, which means they're going to get darker and darker. So the value of those beans is gonna go higher and higher. So what you don't want is for them to get too burnt. Yeah, and you actually end up getting the more you go, exactly, like too bitter. Then the longer you go, the more you kind of roast, the more you start getting smoke and other like undesirable things. And then at the end, when you're ready to go, we're gonna make the cup of coffee now. Then again, it's a bag builder essentially. So then when you're drafting back out of your bag, you're hoping that you're gonna get the right combination to hit the perfect value of the blend that you're after. It's a great little game. It's super tough, at least for me. I still cannot, for the life of me, get to the more advanced levels with this. Sometimes I kind of hit a good beginner blend and it works, but it's tough, but it's fun. So that's Coffee
I've
Roaster.
never played it because it's solo.
But
I can appreciate.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Because I like coffee.
Yeah, you love coffee. I don't actually drink coffee. I'm only a tea drinker. Yeah.
The next game is one that I'm super excited to talk about. It's Kahuna. And as far as two-player games go, this is one of my absolute favorites. This would easily be in my top 10, maybe top 5 two-player games. I'm just going to small box two-player games. I'm not going to make any outlandish statements about my top 10. But Kahuna is a wonderful tug-of-war style game between two people. It's by Gunter Cornett, and it's published by Cosmos. It is a game that has been in our collection for a really long time. I don't even know how long, but a long time.
Where did we learn it? I think we actually might have learned it at Mapleville.
Really?
Yeah, I think Tim.
Oh, wow.
I think Tim introduced us to it.
Oh wow, I don't remember, but
he taught us the game. Yeah.
It's just. I love it so much. I'm not even explaining why, but why do I love this so much? Anytime that there's just me and one other person, I'll generally pull this out. Maggie is not as big of a fan of it as me because it's quite mean. Because what you're doing
very
is
head-to-head competitive in a extremely take that. It's nothing but take that.
Yeah. And look, I'm going to explain it to you in a very mechanical way. I'm reading the back right now. It's talking about ancient sorcerers. No, that doesn't come through at all. But what does come through is there's a whole range of islands on a map, and you are trying to put bridges from between two different islands. And in order to do that, you have to have two of the same card of one of the islands or the two cards of the connecting islands. And you've got to play those from your hand in order to build a bridge. And the whole thing is area control, because what you're trying to do is have the majority of bridges going in or out of an island compared to your opponent. As soon as you get the majority, you get to put a token on that island and basically claim ownership of that island, and thereby destroying all of their bridges. And it's just so clever the way that there's a cascading effect throughout this game, and it's all about the timing. So
it's so devastating when that happens.
It is devastating because you could have majority of islands kind of with your color on them, but then what happens is as soon as someone starts, because you don't have to play a card every turn, someone could be saving, your opponent could be saving all of their destructive cards, combo of cards for a certain move where they can destroy one of your bridges, build their own in its place, and then build one other bridge that gives them majority, which creates this cascading effect of you losing all of these points that you've worked
your
very
island
hard.
domination.
Yeah, that you've worked so hard to get. And for that reason, I love this game. I play this game a lot on Board Game Arena as well. So if you're on Board Game Arena, check this one out. It's a really fast game, but it has a lot of thinkiness to it. It's really, the more you play it, the more you realize how much strategy goes into it. There's a bit of luck of the draw of cards, of course, any card game, but I really just...
And a truckload of take that. So if you don't like that...
If you don't like that, maybe stay away.
Yeah.
But it is like, it's like take that like chess is though.
Yeah.
It's like I'm strategizing my way out of it. So I like that. It's not just mean for mean's sake. So that is Kahuna.
Yes. Next one. Oh my goodness. The next one is Welcome to Your Perfect Home. Do you want to talk about this one?
I do so badly, but I just talked about Kahuna.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Two of my most passionate games, like back to back. Welcome to is a roll and write. We actually were going to feature more roll and writes, and then there were just so many games that we wanted to cover in this episode, so we'll just spread them out. But Welcome to Your Perfect Home is a roll and write where you're actually not rolling anything. It's cards. You're turning cards. Flip and write. You're turning cards over that have a number and an action on them, basically. And you're building out your own neighborhood, and you've got 3 streets of houses that need to have house numbers in ascending order. That sounds really boring when you say it out loud, but actually this game is, what I love about this game is you can play it solo, but I don't, but you can also play it 2 players. It's super satisfying, up to 100 players, and we've played this in a big
play this
group.
With more people. It's like unlimited.
It is unlimited, and like I've played it online in streams with people. The app is fabulous in terms of just giving you like player boards, so you can play it over Zoom with your friends. But it's just such a great puzzle because you're constantly weighing up the different end score. In score conditions, you're also like trying to, I guess there's a bit of, what's the word, when you are kind of pushing your luck. You're pushing your luck because
you're hoping that the right combination, either the right number, the right type of element for the street is going to come up.
Exactly. So you're kind of, and then there's also group objectives. So the first person to achieve those objectives, public objectives, gets the most points. And so you're also trying to work out if you can race to get those objectives first. There's a lot going on. There's heaps of expansions as well. So once you've got familiar with the base game, there are all these wonderful like seasonal kind of expansions. And then there's Welcome to New Las Vegas, which we have played as well, but I don't know, there's something about this, the purity of this base game. I cannot recommend this game enough. This is one game where I would be like, everybody should have it in their collection. I would be so bold as to say that because this would feature in my top 20 and perhaps my top 10, but maybe. We'll wait and see.
Lots of potential teasing here.
there is, but definitely in my top 20 of all time.
This game is by Benoit Turpin, I hope I said that right.
Thank you. I didn't know. I was too excited.
And Blue Cocker is the design, the publishing company, and Deepwater Games. So when you play it so much with work because it is so easy to teach, like even a non-gamer.
I played it at work, and then so many people went out and bought it straight after that as well. It's because it's cheap as well. It's like a cheap little box with lots and lots of.
It's fun and accessible in every way.
Yeah. Love it.
Great.
Love Welcome to.
All right.
You can talk about.
Oh, Canvas. Canvas is our next game. This one we only just received it, so we've only just started playing it. It's by Jeffrey Chin and Andrew Nerger, and who's the publishing house? Publishing is about R2? Road to Infamy. Road to Infamy. Are they a new publishing company? Because I haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from them before.
Yeah. So was this a Kickstarter?
This.
I mean, I only find out when a game arrives in the mail. I'm like, cool, let's play
nothing.
it.
She's
I
just
have no idea where they come from.
The pile of games. This was a Kickstarter. I'll talk briefly about that because there's also like a Kickstarter bonus pack that you could add on, which has like some little baby easels that you can use as an accessory. This is just the base game here at the moment, but this is such a beautiful base game.
Yeah. And the actual box itself, like this is, you can see that the name of the game is not on it because if you want to, you can actually use this as a piece of art. And it even has the hole so you can hook it onto your wall.
Super clever.
And that's a different form of storage. We should just do that with every game that we have because we don't actually have any storage on shelves left. So we might have to start getting creative with where we put our games. But essentially in Canvas, you're all artists, and what you're doing is it's got beautiful components, these translucent or transparent cards, and you're trying to put together the best piece of art by combining there's different objectives. So sometimes it might be about particular shapes or elements. Those shapes relate to, what was it, like composition. I'll go into theme a little bit. I think it's like contrast, also the combination of colors.
Texture.
Yeah. So you're trying to put together the best kind of combination. You end up creating 3. So at the game ends once you've created 3 paintings. Yep. They've got this sleeve card where you put all these translucent cards, obviously layer up on top of one another to create the full composition.
Yeah, the mechanic is card crafting. So if you're familiar with that, it's like layering cards together.
Yeah, and then you sleeve them into the one composition. I love then unveiling my piece of art and doing my my gallery opening sort of spiel, which is really fun. Because they also have names. Like each card has a name. So when you put them all together, you end up with the name of the full
like
composition.
strange combination of words that make the name of the painting, which is like super fun. And then you get to choose the background that painting has, and the images all come together to kind of be layered on top of each other to create one painting. And the level of detail that went into this game is just incredible, phenomenal. I just love as well that in this box, so we've got it set up at the moment because we're actually playing it, but you can see in the box it actually shows you where to put everything back. Oh my goodness, can everyone do this, please?
Please, absolutely every single publisher. This is like the dream
now. Yeah, tell us where things go.
How do we put things back in? Because often, obviously, things come, unpunched, and you have no idea where they're meant to go. And there's all these trays, and you go, but some of these things don't fit or don't look like. Please guide me as to where things are meant to go. They've done it.
They've done it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
There's the canvas like play mat is made out of material, which is really nice. I like the cloth. Kind of the transition to cloth boards has been really nice in the industry. But also, this game, what is it like to play? I would say that it's fairly light.
It's very light,
Very light. This is like borderline light for us. Like, this is kind of, in my opinion, it's probably,
I wouldn't see it like there's a puzzle.
There's definitely a puzzle. I definitely can't win. Maggie wins every time.
You were surprisingly not good.
I'm really not good at it. I don't know. It's like spatial awareness or something.
But I think people that love art and artistic things would really enjoy this, because that's what I enjoyed the most about it. The actual illustrations on the cards are beautiful, and I had such sense of joy when I was bringing together those stories. I think one of them, and like the unveiling of the story. So it's more from that almost kind of social, creative side of going, this. I'm very proud about this piece of artwork because internally because I've got a lot of points in it. Like I managed to do a lot of awesome things with the point maximization, but also because it's like the title. I remember one that I really loved was like precious perspective. It's like this is a perfect, like this is one of my favorite things. It's like precious. So all of that means that you can have a really nice
Yeah, it's a
it's
fun
light-
social interaction.
Yeah. So if you love art or anything around that,
Yeah, and it's not stressful. There's no direct
No.
interaction. You're not stealing things away
No.
from people. You're just drafting cards.
yeah.
And yeah, it's very relaxing.
And it's not really like it's not a tense experience at
Not
all.
at
It's
all,
just
no.
it feels like you're painting. It's
Yeah.
like it's probably one of the games where I felt more of that sense of like almost like creative, light creative enjoyment a little bit. 'Cause you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that this is like such a well-produced game. Like
Yes.
just
Good.
beautiful.
Great production quality.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our 5 games for episode 2 of Small Talk. If you're at the end of the video, congratulations
Well
for
done.
making it
Well done, you.
all the
Again,
way through.
yes.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of the support. We are really enjoying our journey into content creation. It's been, 4 or 5 months now? 4 months? 5 months.
I feel like probably it's now going into
5 months,
5 or
months.
6.
Yeah, and it's just been an absolute whirlwind. You'll see us across some other channels. Like this week, it was we did a top 10 with Alex from Board Game Co. So if you haven't checked that out, jump over to his channel and check out that top 10 most anticipated Kickstarter games of 2021. But yeah, we are trying to fit everything in around our day jobs and
still learning how to time manage and get everything done.
Yep, we're trying to get back to what we love most, which is the deep dives on our big box games.
Yes.
So you'll see a few more of those popping up. But in the meantime, please hit like if you enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments if you've played any of these games, any suggestions for other games that are like these. And we look forward to introducing 5 more of our favorite small box games next week.
Well, in a couple of weeks. In a fortnight.
In a fortnight.
Which is 2 weeks in Australia /
Sorry, in
UK
2 weeks.
speak.
I didn't even know what I'm doing on this channel. I can't even explain it.
I'm on the same boat.
I think I need to swap my tea for a coffee. Bye for now.
Bye.